Here is our old school project number one. This is a trace hook out of 5/8 round bar. The crux of the operation is getting enough material upset into the bar to be able to punch this eye without thinning these sidewalls too much. The end of the hook needs to have a generous opening to allow the chain of the rope to slip. This is feathered out to give it strength because this is not a closed loop like a chain, and then the pulling force needs to be opposite the eye, so we're going to have to put a slight bend in the back here. To complete this operation you're going to need a 3/4 inch slot punch, a round drift, and something like an 1.5 half round bottom swage. To complete our trace hook we have to do this major upset for the eye. I'm going to start with 12 inches of 5/8 round material, and I'm going to shorten that bar by about 2 3/4 of an inch in the upset. 12 inches is a little long material by about an inch. I think 11 inches would be suffice, but that extra inch gives me room for my hand when I'm going for the major upset. Once we bump the end in, we're looking for something that is going to give us about an inch by about 1.5 or so, 1 3/8, probably towards the 1.5 by 11/16, just slightly bigger than the parent bar stock. And then we'll crown this and make our slot punch hole and then drift it to our eye. In an effort to control the upset, I'm going to chamfer the round bar from all 4 sides, creating a square chamfer on the end of the bar. And I will continue to do that until such stage as I flatten the upset, and in that case then I'll just chamfer either end of the upset. In chamfering what we're doing is concentrating the force, so any miss hit, even if it hits a corner, is still a lot closer to the center line of the bar, rather than out here it's going across the upset and we end up with bends in our upset or bends in the bar. Here's my finished upset. I'm about 1 inch between the sides. You can see I've maintained my chamfer throughout. I have about 1 3/8 of usable upset, but that still leaves me a good thickness at the neck, and I'm about 11/16 through the thickness. I shortened the bar by about 2.5 inches to get this upset, so it's quite a major upset. If things are going less than swimmingly, shall we say, about keeping your main bar in line with the upset, consider clamping what you can of the upset in the vise and then hitting the offending side with the round part of your hammer to match that slope, and try and recenter the parent bar on the upset. Here's our upset, and we've got a 3/4 inch slot punch here, and you can see I've roughly got 1/2 inch on all sides, which includes at the neck there. That's the important bit. If you're going to make a mistake, leave the end fatter rather than thinner. If you go too thin, don't forget we're asking these sides to pooch out, and that's going to drag that sharp end of the slot punched hole. So if you want to make a mistake, leave it fat. In preparation of making the eye, I'm going to take my upset, which has facets on it at the moment, and I'm going to drive it into an 1.5 inch half round bottom swage and try and encourage the end to become half round. Then I'm going to slot punch with a 3/4 inch slot punch, and then I'm going to re-upset to collapse that slot punched hole into a somewhat round, somewhat square shape. Then I'll drift it. hit it, look at it, is that where you want it to be? Just going to crowd that top end, and yes it is. Turn the tool around. Turn the tool around. If you're going to quench to control the heat in the handle here, you must leave the thickness of the eye. So whatever that is, you must leave that hot. These arms have somewhere to go. If you cool too much, then you're going to expect the arm to come out using cold stock, and that's not going to work. The eye of the hook needs to have the corner removed to a chamfer to allow it to slip round any chain or ring that you're using to contain the hook.